Hey everyone, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and be sure to follow. Folks, we have to start with the price of Bitcoin because right now it is trading below $66,000. So we are seeing a downward move here for Bitcoin, and it appears that the rising channel we were in has been invalidated. We were certainly looking for Bitcoin to go up to 80K, maybe a little bit higher, but of course, no move to new all-time highs. This was simply a relief rally and then a rollover to lower lows. Now, I have to say that we got to let this complete, or let the week complete and see what the weekly close brings us. It could still be on the table, but the probability of us continuing higher is getting lower. So just be mentally prepared if Bitcoin were to do another leg down and dump to the 50Ks, at which point I think it finds the bottom between 50 to, let's say, $54,000. I actually wrote about this in today's newsletter, so make sure you check that out. It's 100% free, but I have some charts and things along those lines in there. So we got to be careful here because, there could be further downside. Obviously, there's a lot of macro factors with the economy, oil prices, the war in Iran, not to mention the stock market itself is showing a ton of weakness. One good sign is that the S&P 500 is touching the oversold zone. So we could see a bounce, a relief rally, but not to new highs. Then it continues to roll over. And if it does get a bounce, maybe that helps Bitcoin to continue its move higher. Again, not to new highs. And then we hope the altcoins can follow. But right now, not looking good. And we're going to have to wait and see how Sunday closes and what next week brings us. Okay, folks, we have an update on Morgan Stanley's Bitcoin ETF and the fee they're going to charge. Well, they are looking to compete because they set the fee at 0.14%, which is the lowest in the market once approved. So it hasn't been fully approved yet, but they're looking to make a splash here. So certainly going up against the competitors like your BlackRocks and others. So we've been talking about this, that Morgan Stanley, a bit late to the game after BlackRock, Fidelity, and all the other big Wall Street firms took their position. But nevertheless, better late than never. And even the naysayers like Vanguard and others are jumping in. Here's what James Seifert, ETF analyst at Bloomberg, had to say about the news. He said, "Wow, we have the fee on Morgan Stanley's spot Bitcoin ETF MSBT. Will charge just 0.14%. Big move here. They are not messing around, likely to launch in early April." So I'm very curious as to what the inflows are going to look like, because Morgan Stanley does have a lot of clientele, a lot of capital that it can certainly push into that ETF. So we shall see. But the fact that they're lowering the fee is a very, very good sign. Competition is heating up, and that's very good for the market. Now, interesting news here from Ripple. They are rolling out an AI-driven security upgrade to the XRP Ledger. This includes AI-assisted testing and dedicated red team to catch vulnerabilities before they hit production. So I think every major blockchain is going to do this, right? They have to leverage AI in different ways. And here's what J. Otto Akinli, from saying his name right, who's head of engineering at RippleX, he said, "We're taking a more proactive AI-driven approach to strengthening XRPL security. That includes AI-assisted testing across the development lifecycle, a dedicated red team, and higher standards for how changes are evaluated before they go live. As the XRP ledger scales to support global payments, tokenized assets, and institutional use cases, our goal is to continuously strengthen its reliability. The reality is, the work of building secure, reliable financial infrastructure is never done." So great to see that these updates are being done across different chains. And obviously here on the XRP Ledger, this is all good. Okay, folks, this episode is brought to you by Trezor, which makes self-custody of your crypto assets easy. Trezor makes beautiful hardware wallets. They were the pioneers of hardware wallets and the seed phrase setup. They started this back in 2013. and their hardware wallets are open source. I'm a user of the Trezor Safe 5 and the new device, the Trezor Safe 7, which is quantum ready. So Trezor supports all your major assets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano, and much more. Even new tokens, they list all of them. And they have a great software called Trezor Suite, which helps you to manage your assets, where you can buy and sell and much more. And they have a hand-holding service. If you want to talk to a Trezor rep, and getting your device set up, you can do so. And they don't ask you for your private keys, so you don't have to worry about that. And folks, if you use my code Thinking Crypto, all one word, Thinking Crypto, you can get 5% off your purchase. So check out Trezor. Again, I'm a user, so I can vouch for this. And I believe self-custody is the safest way to custody your assets, where you control the private keys. So check out Trezor. Link will be in the description. Okay, Anchorage Digital adds Tron custody, opens US institutional access to the TRX trading. So TRX is, of course, the native token of the Tron blockchain. This is, of course, a project that was spearheaded by Justin Sun with a lot of controversy, but I think Justin Sun being relieved from any type of investigation allows the token and this project to now be adopted by different folks across the globe. So Anchorage Digital, a US regulated crypto bank, will add support for the Tron blockchain, starting with institutional custody for TRX, the network's native token. The integration provides institutions with a compliant way to hold TRX, and will be expanded to include TRC20 assets and native TRX staking. The move brings Tron, a major network for stablecoin transactions, into Anchorage's institutional framework, offering a bridge between traditional financial institutions and the crypto ecosystem. So great to see additional crypto assets being added for support for institutional investors. So this is really great. Now, look at this, folks. The New York Stock Exchange owner, which is the Intercontinental Exchange, doubles down on Polymarket with a fresh $600 million investment. Now, we know the New York Stock Exchange itself is going all in on crypto and tokenization, but they're looking to invest in platforms like prediction markets, which are blockchain based. So it's amazing what's happening to see these TradFi folks of this caliber, investing in crypto companies. It's amazing. It's amazing. And their total commitment to Polymarket is about $2 billion. Man, that is wild. But this is the future. They recognize what's happening, and it would take a very long time for them to go to build something like this. So they can easily acquire these companies, or, bring them into their fold, so to speak. And I think we're going to see more and more of this, especially as the Clarity Act gets passed and we have the clear rules of the roads. A lot more capital is going to come in, investing in companies, buying the tokens, and much more. But not everyone is happy. You got some Democrats who are pushing back against the Kansas Fed over their approval of Kraken's master account. So you can imagine Elizabeth Warren, and here specifically Maxine Waters, the ranking Democrat of the House Financial Services Committee, is demanding answers from the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas over the approval of Kraken's Financials Limited Purpose Master Account. Now, we know Maxine Waters and Elizabeth Warren, two grandmas, they don't care about why it was done. No, they're getting their marching orders from the likes of the Jamie Dimons of the world, right? The banksters who are getting disrupted. Jamie Dimon doesn't like this. He doesn't like that these folks can have their own stable coins. He doesn't like that they can get Fed master accounts. He doesn't want that, right? He's the incumbent, and he's been fighting for years. And we know at one point he was trashing Bitcoin and crypto forever. Now he's capitulated, right? His bank is offering crypto services and much more, but that's not going to stop him and his buddies from lobbying the hell out of these top Democrats like Maxine Waters and Elizabeth Warren. So this is why we need to get the Clarity Act passed. These people are not going to stop. I mean, just the other day you saw Elizabeth Warren is sending a letter to Mr. Beast saying, Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, tell us about your acquisition of Step and what you're going to do with crypto, with Gen Zers and much more. Like, really? Let the regulators handle that. Why do you need to send a letter to Mr. Beast? But again, guys, I hope you see for what it is. It's just a lot of bullshit, right? They are simply getting the big fat checks in the mail from the banks, and they're going around trying to shake down people, give them a hard time, slow them down, roadblock them, right? Because you can imagine, again, just like Jamie Dimon, these guys don't like crypto companies getting banking licenses and master accounts. They don't want anybody with a huge following being able to set up the ability to move money, right? This is how it works. The incumbents who have been doing campaign donations for a long time, calling up, pulling those strings, right? Hey, Elizabeth Warren. Hey, Maxine Waters, go stop these guys, right? We don't like what they're doing. Again, not that these folks broke the law or they did anything bad, just disruption, right? So that's why you have these grandmas, right, who are out there attacking these companies. It's pretty crazy. Final news item here. We have details on who the auditor will be for Tether's USDT. So KPMG, one of the top four accounting firms, has been highlighted as the auditor. And I actually just interviewed someone from KPMG. That interview should be published over the next couple of weeks. They're doing a lot with crypto and blockchain. And it's incredible to see these firms, which existed way before crypto, are now adopting the technology in different ways. And great to see Tether is going through the respective processes here to meet the requirements of things like the Genius Act and much more, and further legitimizing the work they've been doing. There is a lot of FUD out there. I've been on record how I feel about it. I have no dog in a fight. I'm just about facts. I've said in the early days of Tether's setup, I even interviewed people from who are creators or founders of Tether, and I asked them about this, and they're like, "Yeah, look, I don't think the ship was right in the early days, that things were not buttoned up." But to say that's the case now is just asinine, right? Tether's been doing attestations. They got Cantor Fitzgerald backing them, saying, hey, they've got the reserves. Now they're going to bring in a top four accounting firm. But you're going to still see people who are FUDsters who are either getting paid or there's something behind the scenes, right? We want to bring down Tether for, regarding their bias or whatever it may be. But this is really great. And I'm looking forward to seeing the audit that's put together here. Folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe. Support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. Like I said earlier, I put out a write-up today. Again, it's 100% free. Doesn't cost you anything. It's on Substack. Link will be in the description. Be sure to grab a copy of my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And check out my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto and blockchain technology. It features expert commentary. No other crypto course offers this. So you're going to hear from the builders and the people investing and much more, founders, CEOs, institutional investors. And folks, right now we have a bear market sale going on. So if you use the code BEAR, BEAR, at checkout, you can get 50% off the course price. So huge discount. Check it out, guys. I discounted it because I know we're in a bear market. It's not fun, but at least we can continue to learn. Knowledge is power, right? And prepare for the next bull market. So it covers every aspect of crypto, guys. So be sure to check it out. Go to mycryptocourse.com. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.